Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our grammar and English lessons, okay, at Almano International School. So today we will be reading about and learning about capitalization and abbreviations, okay. So a capitalization is basically to enlarge the first letter of a word. That is to capitalize something, okay. And here we read. Here are some rules for capitalizing proper nouns. Okay, so the first rule is capitalize the first word and every important word of a proper noun. Okay, so if we need to capitalize, if we need to make the first letter of a word, um, if we may have to make it bigger, sorry, then the first word of every important word of a proper noun will be capitalized. And in order to know what we need to capitalize, we need to understand what a proper noun is. Okay. A proper noun is basically a name of a particular person, place, or things. So things like magazines, the names of newspapers, the names of works of art, the names of musical compositions, organizations are all proper nouns. So when we see names like Jim Thorpe, the Pro Football, the Hall of Fame, People Weekly, the New York Times, the Mona Lisa, the Swan Lake and Sierra Club, like these names over here, names of newspapers, magazines, and people, we need to capitalize the first word and every important word of these proper nouns. Okay, so as you can see, Jim Thorpe, this is capitalized. Pro Football is capitalized. People, the P and the W is capitalized. New York Times, the name of a newspaper. The the first the letter of this word, New York and Times, all of them are capitalized. So on this particular slide, we see that we have to capitalize the names of people, places, and things, meaning we need to capitalize proper nouns. That's very, very important to remember. Okay. And the second slide, we basically will be learning about abbreviations. Now, in order to understand abbreviations, we need to ask the question, what is an abbreviation? Okay. An abbreviation is a shortened form of a word or phrase. So if we do not want to write the full word or the full phrase, when we are writing, we can use abbreviations. Okay. And here are some rules about abbreviations. Here it is stated, capitalize the first letter of an abbreviation and capitalize both letters in a state postal abbreviation. Okay, so remember, abbreviation is basically a shortened form of a word or phrase. Now, if we look at this example, of this particular street over here, we see 227 Topoki Avenue, and then we have a postal state address, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So now, instead of saying 227 Topoka Avenue, we abbreviate Avenue and we say AVE. We make it a shortened form instead of writing Avenue full. We use the abbreviation AVE. And also, when we use the abbreviation AVE, we have to capitalize the first letter of the abbreviation, which is AVE. Similarly, we need to capitalize both letters in a state postal address. Now, this is a state postal address. Okay, Riyadh, SA. So this SA refers to Saudi Arabia, because we need to capitalize both letters of in a state postal address, which is an abbreviation for the country Saudi Arabia, and this is basically the city Riyadh. So abbreviations, guys, is basically a shortened form of a word or phrase, and We need to capitalize the first letter of an abbreviation. So like in the example of 227 to Topoka Avenue, okay, instead of writing the word avenue completely and fully out, we will write AVE, the abbreviation AVE, and we need to capitalize the first letter of the abbreviation AVE. Similarly, just a bit different, when we capitalize a state postal abbreviation, we need to make both of them. We need to capitalize both letters in a state postal address, which in this case would be Saudi Arabia, SA being the abbreviation. Okay. In the following slide, we learn that we need to capitalize. We need to make the first letter of the word bigger in the days of the week, in the months of the year, and in holidays. Here are some examples where we capitalize days of the week, like Monday. We need to capitalize the first letter of the word. In the similarly, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all these days, when we use them in our writing and our reading, we need to recognize and we need to write the first letter of those days of the week with a capital letter. Similarly to months of the year, September, October, November, January, for example, and also holidays like Memorial Day, like Eid al-Fitr, like Ramadan, those holidays that we get in the year, we need to, when we mention them in our writing, we need to write them with capital letters. Okay, that is that. Then, in the following slide, we learn that we need to capitalize titles that are used before people's names as well. So now we see here, Coach and Mrs. Al-Sufyani asked us to come to their house. So before we see the name of the person, we see a title like Mrs. Okay, so when we use titles like Mrs., we need to capitalize them as well. Similarly, if we see titles like Coach, we also need to capitalize them. And also another example that comes to mind, we need to capitalize Doctor as well, like Dr. Al-Zahrani. Okay, Al-Zahrani. So we need to capitalize all the titles we use when we're writing, and also when we're reading. We need to identify that there has to be a capital letter in any title given, like Sheikh or Doctor or Mrs. or Mr., etc. Okay, so it's very important to capitalize titles as well. Then lastly, we need to capitalize the first word in a direct quotation. Okay, so when we quote someone, like in this example, the football game was so exciting. This is a quote taken from a person who said, he said. If we say the football game was so exciting, he said, if we want to talk about someone else and what that person is saying, if, let's make an example, I tell you, Yusuf, I quote, Yusuf said the football game was so exciting. So before I start with what Yusuf said, my first word needs to be capitalized to indicate to everyone that this is a quote from Yusuf and not myself. Or if I want to quote Rayan, and I say, I quote, Rayan said, inverted commas, the football game was so exciting. So I can say that the first word I need to capitalize because it's not my words, it is Rayan's words, or it is Yusuf's words. Okay, so that is basically how capitalization and abbreviations work, people. Okay, so remember, we need to capitalize all proper nouns. We need to capitalize titles. We need to capitalize the first word in a quote. Okay, and with regards to abbreviations, abbreviations are those words or those letters that is shortened That is a shortened version of a full word or a phrase. So when we do not want to use full words, we can use abbreviations. But remember, we also need to capitalize abbreviations. And also in the instance of a state postal code, we need to capitalize both letters. Like we said in the example, Riyadh, SA being the abbreviation, being capitalized for Saudi Arabia. Okay, and that is basically what we have learned today. So I hope you have taken something from this lesson and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.